Hi everyone, I just wanted to give you a quick tutorial on our testing that's coming up for Aspire Plus. So this is just a quick training. If you have any questions, please come find me. My email, ebrotherton@twillaschools.org. If you need additional training and can't find me, you can just email me. So here is our schedule. We are on an assembly schedule, but it's a little bit longer. We have an hour and a half for testing. We do this so that we can accommodate all of our accommodation rooms. So our first test being science, it is only 45 minutes. The reading and math are both 75 minutes. So on the first day, we gave ourselves that time so that we can make sure we get all the kids to class. And because it's a new schedule, we know that we will have some hiccups and won't be starting right on time. So that'll give us just a little bit of a buffer. Then after that day, the students will know which classrooms they're going to, and it will be just a lot less confusing. So that is our schedule. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. Here is where you will find our room assignments. So the test is room, not teacher. So if it says room 106, all of the documents that are going to be brought around during first period are going to the room, not the teacher. So room 106, not Mr. Ham's room. So we will just make sure that when the TAs come during your first period and drop off an envelope, that you just make sure it's there for the teacher that will need it to take roll. The rosters will be on there. The direction, the script that you need to read are all going to be in there. Also, the students will be assigned different rooms. So those rosters will be in that envelope. And we'll also have a spreadsheet here. It will have their SSID numbers, so it will be easy for them to log in, and you'll see why in a minute. Just the room setup when you walk in. If you know people are testing in your room, just make sure the setup is set up. You can't have any round tables or desks facing each other. You just need to have them either facing away or just don't have students sitting next to each other so that they could see each other's screens. Make sure that you can walk around free to monitor. If you have any questions, you can refer to the Test Administration Manual, or TAM is what they call it. Yeah, and so if you have any questions about what you need to do for your room setup, let me know. You need to make sure that any posters that would have subject matter that's being tested are just covered up. And then once for proctoring the test, each teacher will have a role. The students will come in and either show you a student ID, or if you know them, you can just let them in, and that will start your proctor session. So you just check them off the roll. That's how we're going to take roll that day. So you'll be turning those rosters in. The script will be in your envelope, but if for whatever reason you lose it or you can't, it's the wrong script, I don't know. Here again is the TAM that you can refer to, and then you admit the students in, have them sit in a seat. You can assign them seats or whatever you want to do to make it work for you. Once you are before you start the test, you'll need to log into Adam. The link is here, but if you can't find it, it's ltr.adamexam.com. If you just Google search Adam exam, it will not have this LTR and it will not let you in. So you need to make sure it has the LTR. That's really important. It will come to this page. When you come to this page, do not worry about the username and password. That is not where you will log in. You will come here to where it says Proctor a Test. You will click on that button, and once you click on that button, it takes you to this page. This test ticket will be have all this information that you need. This will be in the envelope that we are giving out. So you're going to want to make sure it says grade 10 math, if that's what we're doing that day. And then if it's a standard room, it'll say standard here. If you have any accommodations, it'll say what your room has. The test code listed here will go where it says enter test code. This test code is going to be specific to your room. Each room is going to have its own test code and its own proctor password. So you will put your test code here, and then you will enter your proctor passcode here. Your password for the proctor password, do not give to students at all. If the student figures out that you go to ltr.adamexam.com, they have the test code and the proctor password, they could start proctoring test, which is not what we want. So just make sure you keep that password safe so that you can let students in. As you're going through the instruction, you will read it, and then at one point it will the students will be following along. It will tell the students to enter seal code. This is where the seal code is located. Do not give the students the seal code until it says in the instructions. Just keep that. Once you're ready for that, the seal code, the students will be able to start entering the system. And so that's why you just hold off until you are ready. This is what the proctor dashboard will look like. As students are logging in, you'll see here they'll be listing any actions that we need to have done. If they need to be allowed in, you'll have the need attention. You'll click there and it will have a button that will say allow all in. Oh, here's a better, not blurry version of that. So you'll see who's resumed, exited, not started, submitted. If they have exited, that's when you will have to reseat them, and we will go over that in just a second. So you allow the students into test. Once they have logged in, your proctor dashboard will have the progress status. If it says needs attention, that's where you will click so that you can approve their session and admit them into the test. Approve all is just an easy button to click, and everybody who's just waiting in the waiting room will be approved, and they will start the student's test. Once it starts their timer too. So it's nice to kind of tell all the students, I'm approving you now, your test has started. This is what the students will see. So when you're helping them log in, you need to make sure they are not logged into their computer. So if they logged in, make sure that they log out, and then they will see this apps button. When they click the apps button, a little dashboard of different options will pop up. They can click test nav. If that doesn't happen, it will pop up here, and you will click Utah. Don't come over here to ACT Aspire. That is not what we are doing. We are doing Utah. Once you click on Utah, you'll be able to see it'll log you into the Utah Aspire Plus test. This is where they will put in that test code you have. If they have any audio they would like to listen, you can have them plug in their headphones and test them now. Or if they have Bluetooth headphones that are connected to their computer, they can test them and use them for the test portions that they're allowed to have the instructions read to them. When the students get past that button, past the test code button, it will ask them for their last name and then their SSID number. This is not their lunch number. This is the longer number. You will have that on your roster list. So if a student doesn't know that, you will be able to look it up. The test codes are not passwords for the test. They look something like this. So you'll be able to make sure that they're English 9 and that the test is correct. Last name, you may have a student with 2 last names or a hyphenated last name. Their test is however it is in the Skyward system. So if you look at that roster, that will be that will tell you what their last name is that they need to enter when they're trying to access the test. This is just another, what I've just said, how they log in. If you have any questions or can't remember, here's a written version of that. So reseating a student. So there are times when a student might be logged out for a number of reasons. They could lose connectivity. Their computer could shut down because their battery dies. The student forgot to connect their headphones, that kind of stuff. So when that happens, a teacher is able to reseat a student, is what it's called. So the student would have to exit test nav and then re-enter. It will, on your progress bar, might say breached, it might say still in session. If there's any sort of issue, this reseating a student can resolve about 127 issues, is what they say in the testing manual. So if you're having issues, sometimes just trying to reseat the student might help. Even if it looks on your end that everything is right, reseating a student is the easiest way to try to troubleshoot that issue. So in order to reseat a student, what you have to do is on your proctor dashboard, you will find the student that is having the issue. There will be 3 dots under the action area. You will click on that action area and it will say select the reseat session. So you will select that, and then it will ask for a confirmation. If that's what you want to do, you select yes. And then the student progress will change from in progress or breached or whatever to reseat to indicate that the student has been reseated. Once that happens, the student will receive a notification that they can log into this test session again if they're waiting for you to allow them into the session. So, and this is just a picture. You'll see it's a really blurry picture, sorry. You click on the 3 dots and then it will say reseat session. If a student gets sick and they must leave and cannot return during the test, they're not allowed to complete the test once it's already began, or to complete it at a later date once it's already began. So if they do get sick or they cannot finish the test, they are going to have to they will just be graded on what they were able to accomplish. And they're not allowed to retake the test. There's no redos on this test. After the test, students are not allowed to use their Chromebook while others are still finishing the test. And like we said, we do have extra time just to make sure everyone is able to get in and take the test. Students are allowed to do other things. They can read a book. So unlike the ACT and AP test, you are allowed to have a book out. You can do paper homework or anything like that. You're just not allowed to be on the Chromebook. So if a student is done with the test, they can shut their Chromebook and just take a nap. Or we've had coloring pages or crosswords ready for students to do while they wait. So if you need to do that, go ahead. And they just are not allowed to have Chromebooks open once they are done with the test. Also, if a student needs to use the restroom, their time does not stop. It keeps going, and they can go to the restroom and come back, but just let them know that the time does not stop for that. Just a little other information. You do not have to keep time on the computer. The computer will do that for you. The system will do that for you. So once you've allowed the student into the test, it will go through instructions for the student, and the student will start the test, and the computer will take time for the test. So don't worry about telling the students they're out of time or that they have 5 more minutes. The system will do that for you. And also, like I said, students may use earbuds or headphones or whatever. They just need to be plugged in at the start. If a student wants to use headphones and they don't have it, just have somebody run to the office and they will have a few headsets to borrow out if anyone wants those. And that is all. So if you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out to me, and I think we'll have a great test time. So thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.